As mayor and on behalf of my city council colleagues, I thank you for joining us to officially acknowledge the initiation of the largest capital improvement project in Dubuque's history. Not typically a topic of daily conversation, nevertheless, wastewater treatment is most definitely a critical service to every household, business, resident, and visitor to our community. It is well known that Dubuque's existing water pollution control plant facility was designed and built over 40 years ago, clearly exceeding its life expectancy, experienced through increasing operation and repair costs. The facility planning and RFP process for this project actually began over 3 years ago in early 2007. City staff worked with consultants to consider 9 different options and finally settled on 3 of those based on initial capital costs, operating costs, and non-monetary issues like odor potential and impacts on the environment. The existing plant's age, regulatory changes, and concerns over the plant's capacity and Dubuque's continued growth all mandated action. My city council colleagues and I presented with those 3 options in the spring of 2008. Following a basic education on the science of a water pollution control plant and a thorough review of the return on investment models for the project, the council selected the anaerobic digestion process option. Water pollution control plant manager Jonathan Brown will go into details about that shortly. But for the council, we understood that while this option had the highest initial capital costs, it also represented the lowest annual operating and maintenance costs. Importantly, anaerobic digestion was the most sustainable option when weighing costs with long-term benefits and environmental impact. This investment comes with an estimated cost of $64 million and is being funded by our state's revolving loan fund, which will be repaid over time with sanitary sewer user fees. Who benefits? Dubuque's water pollution control plant serves nearly 23,000 households, commercial and industrial customers, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Taken to a daily level, this plant treats nearly 8 million gallons of wastewater and processes nearly 7 tons of suspended solids each and every day. I want to take this opportunity to recognize the skills and commitment of our city staff, the persons who keep this plant operating continuously and as efficiently as possible, and who will continue to do so through this important renovation project. As Dubuque continues to grow, the increased treatment capacity provided by the new plant will be important to citizens as well as to existing industries considering operational expansions and new industries considering to locate in our community. Today's groundbreaking is ceremonial, but before we break ground, I'd like to invite Water Pollution Control Plant Manager Jonathan Brown to provide a brief overview of the major components of the project and the sustainable technology that will be integrated into this new facility. Jonathan?
Well, where we're standing right now is actually, in a few months, there's going to be a giant hole right here where there'll be placed 4 anaerobic digesters, 70 feet in diameter, 30 feet tall. By using the anaerobic digesters, we'll be able to convert what is now considered to be a waste material into a resource, both in the production of energy, heat, and a usable biosolids project. So this is a project we've been working on for several years. It will touch every aspect of the current plant, both in remodeling and new processes. The main thing that we're doing is converting from incineration, you see the stack over there, of biosolids to the digestion through the anaerobic process, which uses bacteria to produce energy. In our case, it produces methane. We'll then use that methane to generate electricity and heat for heating the digesters. So we'll be able to reduce the electrical load on the plant, we'll be able to reduce our carbon footprint. All sorts of good things can happen from this. In addition to this change from incineration to digestion, we're also going to be converting from using chlorine for disinfection to ultraviolet light. Chlorine is a very dangerous chemical, hazardous to the environment, whereas the use of ultraviolet light will be much safer and actually more effective in the disinfection process. In addition to the anaerobic digestion process and UV conversion to the UV for disinfection, we'll also be adding on to the administration building and building a new laboratory facilities, which will be a very nice enhancement to the facility. Along with our efforts to become more sustainable, we'll also have some really interesting landscaping going on at the plant. We'll be using low-mow and native prairie grasses for the grass areas, and also we'll have two rain gardens to help with the stormwater management. It'll be really a neat thing in order to get that whole process going. It looks like the whole process from start to finish is going to be about 2.5 years. A major project which will have benefits for not only the citizens, that's an interesting bug, not only the citizens of Dubuque, but also our local industries and the environment.